For a content creator, if there's one thing you should take into serious consideration, aside from the laptop or MacBook, PC in itself, it might just be the monitor. I mean, think about it. You could still be an amazing creative with a slow PC. You might have to have a little patience, but you can definitely make it work. However, if your monitor has horrible colors, your work could also then look horrible. Not to mention the size of the monitor to help with workflow and productivity, or its connection options. And this is exactly why I've been trying the new 4K 32-inch ASUS ProArt display. This is the PA329CV ProArt display from ASUS, and I wanted to test this thing in the perspective of a full-time content creator. I wanted to remove gaming completely from the list of options and focus 100% on the content. And then on top of that, I wanted to see if this could kind of break me away from that ultra-wide addiction that I've been having for the last couple years. I mean, seriously, come on, how sick are ultra-wides? Anyways, I wanted to add this monitor into my full daily routine and see how it held up with the connection of my new M1 Max MacBook Pro. So I needed to see how reliable the USB-C connection features was, in addition with the USB hub, so I could maintain a clean and minimal cable setup, all while seeing how good the color accuracy and the size was for productivity and workflow. Before we get into my experience, let's talk about the key notes about this monitor. First and foremost, it is coming in at $799. It is a 32-inch 4K Ultra HD LED backlit IPS panel. It does come with 100% sRGB and 100% Rec. 709 wide color gamut, and it comes straight out the box factory color calibrated for color accuracy. It includes the DisplayPort over a USB-C with a 90-watt power delivery, meaning for any laptop or MacBook users out there that have the USB-C DisplayPort output, not only can you provide the display from the laptop or MacBook, but you can also power the laptop or MacBook from the power of the monitor. The monitor comes with a C-clamp arm included with tilt, swivel, and pivot and height adjustments. And no, you don't have to pay extra for that. And as usual, it comes with ASUS's flicker-free tech and ultra-low blue light technology with the ASUS iCare. Okay, so now that you know about it, what's the actual experience on this thing? Is it really worth the $800? First off, for the unboxing, as usual with any ASUS product, it was an experience in itself. Solid packaging and really good presentation right out the box, and it included all the cables for any port that it offers, which in my opinion, every monitor at this price range should include that. They should never assume that people are just gonna have these cables, or that they're gonna go out and get these cables knowing exactly what they need to get, and I have seen other monitor brands do that over the years. The overall build and quality from this monitor, and honestly any ProArt monitor that I've tested, is very solid. I don't know what they do different, but the ProArt monitors seem to have a little bit more weight and just a sense of sturdiness to them. And the color accuracy is amazing on this thing. Now, take in mind, I'm not a colorist, but one thing I do to test my colors in my videos is when the upload is done, I try to watch it on every device possible in my house on different presets. So I like to check out my video on like Vivid or HDR or Standard, depending on the TV. And then on top of that, I like to watch it on my phone as well. I started doing this years ago when I first started video editing, because I used to have a TN panel. And while I was editing and color correcting in the software, I never realized that looking at the panel, it was naturally yellow to begin with. So I started noticing on some of my videos when I would watch it on a TV or a different device, I would look overly blue. That was because I was trying to compensate for the yellow hue that the monitor gave out in itself by overcooling the video. Having an IPS monitor with color calibration and accuracy has improved the quality and workflow of my videos throughout the years, because I don't have to go back and forth and fix stuff. I personally work in HDR mode on this monitor, and it helps me control my blacks while protecting my highlights and making sure tones are great before rendering. But I did test out the sRGB feature and the Rec. 709, and both those modes are amazing as well. Let's talk about a downside real quick. It's 60 Hertz. I would have loved to see this monitor, especially at this price point, come in at 120 Hertz, or at least realistically 100 Hertz to save a little money. I just feel like in 2022, we need to start moving away from that standard of 60 Hertz. 120 Hertz overall to me is a more pleasing experience, but that's just my thoughts. You guys let me know what you think down below. So it's not necessarily a downside that wouldn't make me recommend this monitor, but it is a downside that is just slightly annoying for that price point. Again, I've been an ultra wide fan for a while now. I love the real estate with an ultra wide and never never thought I would go back to a 16:9 layout ever again. But to be honest, this 32 inch has kind of changed the game for me. I'm not sure if it's just the size specifically or the fact that it's 4K mixed in with that 32 inches, but I feel like it not only gives me more surface area, but also more within that surface area in itself. So it has seriously been awesome for workflow and layouts in my creative programs like Adobe Premiere. On top of that, ASUS sent me out this portable monitor to test out. It's a 14-inch 32:9 full HD IPS panel, and what this essentially is a portable touch monitor. It's got a 10-point multi-touch feature and supports Microsoft pens, which is the same stylus used as a Microsoft Surface, for example. Like the big ProArt monitor, it comes straight out the box, color calibrated at 100% sRGB and Rec 709, but it also includes this dope little dial that you can customize in your ASUS control panel. I was a little worried about the kickstand on this thing, but it actually folds out very smoothly and props the display up perfectly. For display options, it includes one HDMI and two of those DisplayPort USB-Cs, which connects perfectly to a laptop or a MacBook, so it pairs very well with this ProArt monitor. I think it is important to note, however, that some features are not available on MacBooks and Apple products due to Apple and MacBook's restriction to certain features. I'm kind of tossed for using the little guy in my gaming setup to unlocking its full features on Windows, or just using it out here in my creative setup for a more pleasing workflow experience. Okay, sorry, went off track there. Back to the main point of the video, the 32-inch display. Okay, again, the only thing that I can really say negative, I guess you'd say, about this monitor is the 60 hertz, but it's not really something, again, that I couldn't recommend for everything else that I'm getting at this price point. The reality is we're moving into this world where monitors that offer a lot of these professional options are moving into the $1,000 to $1,500 price range. Having all these professional features for color calibration, accuracy, connection options, the size for workflow, everything that adds up for $800, in my opinion, is a steal. But I also do understand that some creatives are just starting off, and maybe that's an investment that's really hard to swallow at first. And I totally get that maybe this isn't for you specifically. I wouldn't stress about this. There's a lot of 1440p IPS color calibrated monitors out there that you could choose over this if you are on more of a budget and more starting off and just want to make that leap into that first color accuracy to see what it's really like. But if you are a full-time creative in some way and want those professional features, I feel like this monitor is perfect for you, especially at this price point. Those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think down below.